Hello darlings, welcome to a new HEC instructional video. As you can see, I am already wearing the Lori bra and thong, which are interactive. We can tell because their names start with HEC as opposed to their regular version. When you click on a HEC item, you get the setup menu to configure your item. The menu is conceptually divided into 3 areas: Overview, Button Tips, and Action Buttons. We use the action buttons to actually do something. Those having arrows in front of their name open submenus. To test the current settings, we use the Do button over here. The rip-off mode, for example, is currently set to hide, meaning when people click our bra, it gets hidden. We can see it happening via the Do button. Notice also that the bra emoted some text to the public chat. We can get back the menu by clicking on the hidden item. The emoted text looks very similar to the current text shown in the menu, but we'll get back to this later. For now, let's see what happens when people click on our hidden bra. All we have to do is to use the Do button. The bra becomes visible again and emotes a different message to the public chat. Let's see quickly the thong menu now. Apart from the current text and set of genitals, it is configured similar to the bra. The rip-off is again set to hide mode, so it gets hidden when people click on it. As expected, it also emotes its own text. And again, by clicking on it while it is hidden, people can bring it back. Rip-off can also be set to detach mode via the corresponding action button down here. The difference is that now, when people click on our bra, it gets actually detached. The only way to bring it back now is by adding it manually from the inventory again. I prefer it in hide mode, so let's set it back to that by clicking again the action button. By default, HEC items are unlocked, so people can interact with them. We can easily lock them using the corresponding action button over here. When people click on a locked item, it stays put and it lets everybody know in the public chat. However, when we test our own locked item with the Do button, it works, but it lets us know it's locked. These messages show in our private local chat, not the public one. If we prefer locked items not emoting at all, we can use mute lock. We can confirm that there is no emoting by testing with the Do button. Cool, emoting has been indeed disabled. Again, ripping works for us during testing, but it does nothing when other people click on the mute locked item. To unlock our item, we simply click the corresponding action button, and it works both for locked and mute locked items. Testing with the Do button confirms that the item is now unlocked and accessible by anyone. Let us see now how all these work so far, from other people's point of view. Our bra is currently in hide mode and unlocked, so when people click on it, it gets hidden and emotes publicly. The emoted text is customizable, but we'll get to that later. Since our bra is set to hide mode, a second click on it while it's hidden makes it visible again. It also emotes a different message to the public chat, but this one is not customizable. Now, let's lock our bra via its menu and see what happens when people click on it. Okay, the bra is now locked. Let's see. There we go, the bra stays put, and everybody know now that she tried to rip it off. Woo! Let's also see mute lock in action now. I'm now mute locking the bra from its menu, and I will let her try ripping it off. Alright, bring it on, sista. There she goes, however nothing happens. The bra stays put and doesn't emote anything. The text emoted to the public chat when a HEC row item gets ripped off is fully customizable. Moreover, it understands a few so-called reserved words or placeholders if you prefer. They get expanded to their real values when they are actually emoted. For example, the @ sign followed by the word to shows the name of whoever clicked on our item. To stands for toucher. The @ sign followed by own always shows our own name because we are the owner of the item. Here we're shown both as toucher and owner because we are self-ripping. The @ sign followed by AP shows the item's attachment point, which in this case is the chest. As mentioned earlier, the text emoted while a hidden item gets reshown cannot get customized. Coming back to the current text, we can change it to anything we want using the input button over here. It pops up a window with brief instructions, including the available reserved words. The current text is also dumped to the local chat, in case we want to copy and edit it, instead of creating a new one from scratch. Let's replace everything before the sharp sign with a shorter text, using the owner and toucher reserved words. I'll explain what the part after the sharp sign is in a little bit. To apply our changes, we hit the Submit button. The current text has been updated at the top of the menu, and of course it also gets emoted. If we open the input window by accident, we can cancel out of it by submitting nothing. Don't cancel out with the Ignore button, because due to how SL works, this can accumulate lag. Just submit nothing. As you can see, our current text did not change. Let me quickly change the current text back to its previous content, because I liked it better. It is still in my operating system's clipboard, so I will just paste it and submit it. It looks fine in the menu, and it gets emoted too. Nice. Okay, what's the deal with the sharp sign part of the current text? Well, it gets emoted only when the rip-off mode is set to hide, of course without emoting the sharp sign itself. It's meant as a hint to people that the ripped-off item can be brought back by clicking on its attachment point. If I set rip-off to detach mode and self-rip my bra, the emoting does not include the sharp sign part of the text. Remember, in detach mode the items get actually detached, hence other people can't bring them back. It's only me who can bring it back by manually adding it from my inventory. When I set rip-off back to hide mode, the hint gets emoted again during the ripping, since it now makes sense to do so. If we opt to include a hint in our current text, it must start with a sharp sign and be the last part of the text. Other than that, it is fully customizable and it also understands reserved words. But we aren't done with the emoting setup just yet. It is currently set to current text mode, which pretty much means custom text. Using the corresponding action button down here, we can change it to default mode or mute emoting altogether. As its name suggests, when set to mute there is no emoting at all. No matter what I do, or what rip-off mode I use, there is no emoting. I'm time-lapsing now, just to prove the point without boring you. There is also a default option for the emoting. Since we're currently in mute mode, we click the action button twice to enable the default mode. In this mode the emoting text is predefined by HEC, using a reserved word for the item's name. It is the @ sign, followed by the letters I and T, and it expands to the full name of the item, as it appears in the inventory. To be honest, I wouldn't worry much about the default mode, except when resetting the script to factory defaults. Setting emoting to either current text or mute pretty much covers all emoting scenarios, and if you really need to, you can use the item's name reserved word in your custom text at will. I guess it's time to talk about the elephant in the room now. Okay, back to my serious face. What's the deal here? HEC can automatically hide and reshow your private bits, depending on the current action. We can see that for this bra, it's currently detecting external nips. We can have it detecting more types via the Genitals submenu down here. For example, we can enable all the female parts in here. The overview area of the main menu shows which genital types will work automatically and which ones will not. It's always best to enable only the genitals that make sense. It saves processing time. So for the bra, I will just set it back to nips only. By the way, starting with this version, and despite not showing in the supported brands in here, HEC supports the V by session and the P by ASA. I just forgot to update the menu writing. Let's go to the thong menu, where I can show you better how the auto genitals work. It is already watching for all lower body genitals, male and female alike. Moreover, I'm wearing my vagina, which is of course supported by HEC, and you can see its HUD up here. This red button over here indicates that right now the vagina is hidden. It turns green when the vagina is visible. That's how VA owners can toggle their kitty. Of course, I'm not gonna use the VA HUD. Instead, I will self-rip my thong. And here we have it. The thong is off, and the VA button turned green, meaning my kitty is now visible under my skirt. When I bring my thong back, the VA button turns red again, meaning my kitty is now hidden, and it does not conflict with the thong. For the list of supported genital brands, please always check our website. When rip-off mode is set to hide, the main menu contains the take-off action button. Suppose our item is ripped off in hide mode like so. It is still attached on us, but hidden. If we detach it like that, directly from the inventory, the next time we put it on, it will be still hidden. It gets fixed by using the do button once, but we can avoid this extra step in the first place. Let me rip it off again, so it gets back to the hidden state. Now instead of detaching it manually, I'm going to use the takeoff button. Notice that now the bra is restored first, and then it gets detached. So, the next time I put it on, it is not hidden. Just remember that if detach mode is active, takeoff is not included in the menu at all. You should also know that in general, genitals do not reshow automatically if detaching is done manually from the inventory. In the emoting section, I forgot to talk about the erase action button, probably because it is not super important. It deletes the current text. It can't be done from the input window, because if you recall, submitting nothing just exits that window. Let me copy the current text, so I can bring it back, and I'll quickly demonstrate the erase button. As you see, the current text has been erased completely. Now there is nothing to emote during ripping. However, bringing back the hidden item keeps emoting because it's not depending on the current text. It's not really a frequently used button, so let me just bring back the previous contents of the current text, and we move on. We've already talked about basic locking, so now we'll explore the advanced access control. It's called private mode, and as you see, it's currently disabled. It is managed in the private submenu via the corresponding action button over here. The submenu shows the active mode at the top, followed by short descriptions in the middle, and its own action buttons at the bottom. In case you wonder, I've split the screen in half, with the owner's window shown on the left and the touchers on the right. So, let's start by setting the access mode to ask. When Ask is active, we get this little window up here every time someone clicks on our item. Their name is shown at the top, and we can put them in our white list, our black list, or simply allow or deny their action for now. Cancel behaves pretty much like the deny button, just never use ignore, for the reasons I explained earlier in the video. I just denied her action, and as we can see, our bra was not ripped off. This time I will allow it, and the ripping worked as expected. Can I have it back, please? Thank you. We also have a whitelist mode, which gives access only to people we have added in our list. To activate it, we go back to the private submenu and hit the whitelist button over here. The active mode at the top has been updated, with that 0 in the end indicating that the list is currently empty. Let me exit the menu and see what happens now when people click on our item. Since we are in whitelist mode but she is not included, we just get a private message and nothing else happens. To put her on the whitelist, we go back to the private submenu, we make sure that whitelist is the active mode, and we hit the add button. We add people by typing their name here, but they need to be online and in the same sim with us. HEC row lets us know if they were added successfully, and the members counter gets updated too, at the top of the menu. The show button over here dumps the whole list to our private chat, but now it contains only the person we just added. Since she's included in the list now, she can operate our HEC row item normally. Blacklist is the opposite of the whitelist because its members are not allowed to access your item. I just set it as the active mode without having any members on it, so let's see what happens. She can access my bra just fine because she is not on the blacklist. Okay, let's change that by moving her to the blacklist. There is no move button, but when we add people who are already present on the other list, they get moved automatically. Besides being convenient, this also ensures no duplicate members across lists. Now that she is blacklisted, she can no longer access our item. Nothing happens on her end, but we do get notified. To remove people from the list, we go back to the private submenu, we make sure the desired list is active, and we hit the delete button. Just type in one or more names, one name per line, and hit the submit button. Since we had just one person on the list, it's now empty. I've put her back on the blacklist to show you an issue I just discovered with the clear button. It's supposed to erase fully the currently active list, but it is not working for the blacklist. I just hit the button, but as we can see up here, the list did not get cleared. And the show button confirms the issue. It works fine for the whitelist, but until I fix it, blacklisted people can only get deleted via the delete button. However, I'm not showing it, but if the list has many people, you can copy the results of the show button from the local chat and paste them in here. If we ever need to set HEC row back to factory defaults, we can use the reset button down here. This will pretty much change all the settings, so we will need to reconfigure our item after the reset. Here's how the menu will look like after resetting the script. Custom text passage resets to default, rip off to detach, emoting to current text, lock status to unlock, private mode disabled, and no genitals functionality. It will also clear our white and black lists. So, it is a good idea to back up our current text and list members, so we can bring them back after the reset. I'm going to copy and paste those data to my Windows Notepad temporarily, but I could also use an SL note card instead, or even the local chat directly. Okay, I just copied my current text to the clipboard, and I'm pasting it now to my Windows Notepad. For the members of my white and black list, I will dump them to the local chat first. Inside the private submenu, first I activate the white list, and I use the show button to dump its members to the local chat. My lists are currently empty, but if they had members, their names would be listed to the local chat, one name per line. I'll copy and paste this meaningless value anyway, just to demo the workflow, but for non-empty lists we copy all the listed names in just one go. For the blacklist we follow the same steps, so I'll fast forward the video to save us a little bit of time. By the way, here's a little tip. If private mode is disabled or set to ask, the show button dumps both lists at once.
Wow.
Now that we have a backup of our data, we can go ahead and reset the script, like so. All settings reverted back to factory defaults. So let's start by bringing back our current text. We simply copy it from the notepad and then we paste it to the HEC row input window. We submit it and just like that, our current text is back. Let's also restore the names of our whitelisted people. So first we should activate the whitelist inside the private submenu. Next we go back to Notepad and we copy the whitelisted names to the clipboard. Again, we don't have a meaningful list of names now, because our list was empty in the first place, but if it was not, all the names would be listed here and we would select them all in one go. Back to the private submenu, all we have to do now is to hit the Add button and paste the list of names from the clipboard. Of course, I'm not going to submit this meaningless thing now. I'll just cancel out of the window by submitting nothing, as we learned earlier in this video. To restore our blacklisted names, first we activate the blacklist in here, and then we follow the exact same steps. I'm not going to bore you with that, I'll just time-lapse the video. What's left now is to reconfigure the rest of the settings to their values before the reset, but hopefully you know how to do that now, so I think we're finally done with this part. One more thing to talk about, before calling it a day, is the clickable area. It's a hidden prim, defining the area around the HEC row item that responds to clicks. To work with it, I posed my avatar because it makes it easier, and I recommend you do the same. Next, use the Alt, Ctrl and T keyboard shortcut. It reveals all hidden items, showing them in red and blue colors. I wear too many invisible prims right now, but this is the one that defines the clickable area of my bra. The best way to edit it is from your inventory window. Locate the bra, right-click on it, and select Edit. It is now shown with a yellow outline, but it is not isolated just yet. For that, first we need to enable the Edit Linked option over here, and then click on the invisible prim just once. Like here for example. Now it is isolated, and we can move and stretch it according to the shape of our avatar. This is not an editing tutorial, but as a quick tip, you can use these options over here to manipulate the prim. By the way, I'm using Firestorm, but prim editing works pretty much the same across all viewers. And with that, we reached the end of this tutorial. For more details and up-to-date information about HEC row, please always check the online documentation. I've put the link in the description below. If you are still here, thank you very much for watching this very long video. I hope I didn't bore you much. Big huggies, and stay safe.